Hey, this is a real quick overview of reading A to Z, and I'm new to this, so I'm just going to show what I've found so far. We'll be doing an afternoon training in January after school, and you'll receive more information about that. But I wanted to give you some information as far as what the stuff is and how to look at it. So if you wanted to spend time over the holiday vacation, you would have a little extra information on it. So as you can see here, this is what the front page looks like. And before we get too much into it, I want to jump to a different one. And this one shows reading levels. So we're real familiar with the DRA levels, and over on this side it shows DRA levels. So where your students are and you're trying to find reading A to Z material for them, then you can see where it correlates over on this side with the letters. So that's the first way of being able to see how we can use this information. When we go back over here to the reading A to Z site, good place to start is the resources. And when you click on that, you can see there's different ways to click into. Since we're in Common Core, this is a good place to look so that the questions that we use line up in a more Common Core fashion rather than it being multiple choice or something like that. It gets into being more of a constructed response. So when we go into the section here, this is talking about the different kinds of books, and I was excited to see that you have some for the really early ones that are your sound symbol books. Then you get into decodables, high frequency words, and you can read through this as far as what all's there. When we go to decodable books, there's a whole selection that will come up. And one thing that I really like about reading A to Z is how much that there is there. It's not just like 3 or 4 books, but when we put in for this, there were 68. And if you don't want to look through all 68, you can break it down and through these sections here. And when I click on something like Dan the Man, then there are activities that come up. And so you have like these letter cards and word families. So you have all sorts of resources that could be used for centers where the kids would put the initial sound and the rhyme together to be able to make up the words. Another resource are games. So there's a game board that you can pull out and be able to use with the cards. And then there are little books, and this one's kind of crazy looking right now, but there's different ways that you can print the books. And this one, it has the story, Dan the Tan Man, and it goes this way so that it's folded together. So you can have a whole kit of books to fit what your students are going to be working on. And on one of the pages, it shows everything that this story will work on. And for the ones that are, well, let's jump to like a little bit of an older curriculum. So we looked at 6th grade, and I'm going to pull this over here for just a second so we can see like some of the academic vocabulary. And if we were to check into some of those, there's a search bar up here. And on the search bar, if we looked up like main idea and details, and we had something in our curriculum that we were going to be teaching, but we wanted to have additional resources, you can type in here main idea and details, and there are books that will come up for that. When you come in here and you're looking for things like cause and effect, and you can see the list there, then there are books that come up under those categories. If you have somebody that's needing to learn about plot, then you type in an idea as far as what you're wanting kids to work on. And then a selection of books will come up. At some point. And the part that I'll point out in just a second as this is coming up is that when we're talking about plot, it's going to have it at different levels. So when we were showing the correlation between DRA and the reading A to Z, you'll be able to go back to the DRA and look to see what level the kid is reading at, and then we can look to see which level. So as we look up, and we were looking at plot earlier, we can see that there are 95 books that come up. It tells you the color, or the letter right here. So when we go over here, if you have a student that is reading on a 28 and we're trying to get them up higher and they're having a tough time with plot, and we look over here at P, then we can see a book right here that's on their level. And all you do is click on the go to book, and it will take you to the resources for Aaliyah and the Furniture Troll. When I was showing you Dan the Tan Man, and it was kind of upside down, there's different versions of it, 3 different versions that you can print, and there's a projectable version, which means you can put it on the Eno board and show. There are also worksheets that go along with it. And as you look here, you can see that there's also some stuff that deals with comprehension, grammar, mechanics, being able to think through, discuss, so that we're able to go into the higher order thinking, as it says there. And that's some of the resources that comes up under Reading A to Z. Again, we'll have a more in-depth look at it in January. We'll have some teachers that have used it before that are a little bit further along, and they'll be able to share how they have used it in their classroom over the last few years. Thanks for taking a look at the Reading A to Z overview.